Do you have struggles trying to get a good lips drawing? You're trying to draw it, but it's just not going the way you want it? I'm here to help you out with it so you can get something like this. In today's tutorial, we are going to draw the lips, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks so you could improve your drawing skills faster. So first, I would like to start off with a really easy practice. Get some reference photo of the lips, just choose some random photos of the lips and start sketching it. It's really important not to think about the end result at this point, but think about the quality of your lines, in which direction the lines are going. Pay attention to the form of the lips you are drawing, but don't think about the end result. We usually have an idea of how we want our drawing to look like in the end, so we get fixated to that idea so much that we forget to be in the present moment and work on it properly so we could get the wanted result. We're not participating in the progress because in our minds we are already looking at the finished piece. So instead of thinking about the finished piece, think about the progress. Really start getting to know the reference photo. I believe that our minds work in the following way. It's basically impossible to draw something perfect right from the first start because you need to have the time to actually get to know the reference photo. So take your time and really get to know the reference photo first. Try looking at it for a couple of minutes, see the lines, the shape, shades, see all the imperfections on the reference, try to see what exactly has drawn to you to choose this reference in the first place. And even if you don't succeed in drawing it the first time, try drawing it another time, and another. I always like to compare this process with our favorite songs. We all have our favorite songs, and do you remember the first time that you heard it? So when you heard your favorite song, you didn't know the lyrics straight away, right? Your mind had to get used to the song first, then you started liking it more and more, then eventually the lyrics started getting into your head, and you eventually learned everything by heart. But you didn't give up from the song and never heard it again just because you don't know the lyrics, right? You kept listening to the song because you liked it, and eventually it became your favorite. Well, I believe this is the same. When you first look at the reference photo or any project that you have in mind, you didn't get familiar with it right from the first glance. Give your mind a chance to get used to what your eyes actually see and start practicing until eventually you get it right. So have 10-20 attempts of trying to draw the same thing all over again until you're happy with it. Because when it comes to the drawing, talent doesn't have much to do with it, practice does. Always try to keep this in mind. So you see from this practice that I wasn't paying attention to the details, I was just making some sketches and warming up my hand and my mind to get used to what I actually see. I wasn't paying attention to the details, nothing, I was just practicing. And you see that this is not anything special, so also realize that your sketches don't have to look perfect. It's not about getting a perfect sketch, it's about learning something from it and getting the experience. If you have struggles with the sketching process and don't know exactly how to do it, take a look at this video here. I explained all you need to know about the line quality, how to practice, and how to loosen up your hand so you can improve your sketching skills. Alright, so once we finished with this practice, let's go on to our next phase, and that is shading. If I start my drawing like this, being very insecure when it comes to my lines, for sure I'm not gonna get the drawing that I want. Also, when it comes to shading, if you start shading like this without any particular plan or rushing into finishing your drawing, this will eventually look like this. So never rush your drawing and realize that for everything you just need time. Start your sketch by putting 2 horizontal dots on the left and on the right, then connect it with a line and find the middle in between those 2 dots. I got my sketch of the lips by measuring how many times the height of the down lip goes into that horizontal line, and I did the same thing for the upper lip. So whenever you're drawing something, it's really important to measure it because no matter how skilled artist you are, you always have to measure it so you can get the right proportions. I usually use bamboo sticks to measure, but you can use basically anything you want, a pencil, any kind of stick, anything that is flat and straight. After this part, we slowly started with the shades. And you can see here the down part of the lip is not proportional, and it is because the shades were placed differently on the reference photo. And I wanted to leave it like this on purpose so you would be able to see that even if you make a sketch, you can always correct it and tweak it a bit as you go. Don't stick to the lines 100% and think that if you put it like that, they will have to stay like that no matter what. I did some corrections after starting shading, and I did it with the shades, not with the lines, because once you start shading the drawing, the lines have to disappear if you want to get a good drawing, of course. I saw a lot of beginners making a mistake by leaving a very strong lines on the upper and the down part of the lip, which is completely wrong, and let me show you why. If you put any photo in black and white, you will see that the line between the lips and the skin just doesn't exist. They're just in different shades. So realizing that, you need to realize that those lines are only there in the sketching phase, but once you start shading, erase those visible lines so you can barely see the sketch like I did here, and start with different shades. Build it up slowly and you will see how your drawings will look so much better if you leave out all these lines. The only line that has to be visible is the one in between the upper lip and the down one, but still you can make it more as a shade and not the actual line, like we did here in this drawing. I would like to say that you can find this drawing as a real-time, step-by-step narrative drawing tutorial on my Patreon page. I am uploading there new real-time tutorials every week, and they are all in real time with a full explanation of each step. Also, you get the list of materials that I'm using for each drawing, the reference photo, the scan sketch, and a color chart if we are drawing something in color. Whenever you join, you will get access to all my already uploaded tutorials and all the upcoming ones. There are loads of useful things that you can get access to on my Patreon page, so please check it out. And if you want to progress more when it comes to your drawing and painting skills, make sure to visit my page and join in. The link is in my description box. Alright, so you see that I'm not rushing it when it comes to layering the shades and getting those lights and darks straight away. I'm giving myself the chance to get to know the reference photo first, and based on that, I'm slowly layering the shades. I used F pencil as my first layer, then B, 2B, 3B, and for the darkest parts I used 4B pencil. You see the process of layering the shades. I put one layer, then I go over with the blender, then I do another layer, and again I'm using the blender to blend everything out nicely. You can use the blenders, tortillons, cotton buds, brushes, anything that you feel comfortable using so you can shade it properly. I prefer using the cotton buds. They are just so great when it comes to blending, so even if you don't have any blenders, just use the cotton bud and you are good to go. I always say that having enough patience is the key for a good drawing, and you will probably hear this a lot from me in almost all my videos. It's really important not to rush the whole process, and also realizing that even if you overreact with the shades in some parts, you can always use the eraser and erase the certain parts that you don't feel satisfied with. That is the beauty of graphite pencils. You can experiment, make mistakes, and still correct them as you go. Don't think that just by putting certain shades, they have to stay like that forever. Make the most out of your materials, even from the erasers. They are very good in getting the contrast on the drawing like this, which you will see in the end of this drawing. I used the eraser to get those lighter parts, and that gave my drawing so much better look. So use the erasers as your advantage and realize that if you use it, it cannot ruin the drawing, it can only make it so much better. Beginners usually think that by using the eraser you made a mistake, which can be a bit frustrating, especially for the beginners, because your mind simply is refusing the fact that you made a mistake. And that can also be something that can really discourage you when it comes to your drawing. And because of it, you are missing out on so many things when it comes to your drawing progress. If you realize that not as a mistake, but as a process of getting your drawings better, this will ease your mind so much more, and you will start experimenting more when it comes to your drawings and worry less about the possible mistakes that you think you're making in the process. Also realize that our faces are not symmetrical at all. Guys, this is really important, so pay attention to this part. Start looking at some portraits online and start observing their face features. You will see all the possible imperfections when it comes to each face, and those imperfections actually makes each and every person on this planet unique. It's impossible that you find a symmetrical face, so don't expect from the lips to be symmetrical as well. We are starting to draw faces by having that idea in mind that the left part of the face has to be the same like our right part of the face, which is completely wrong, because if you look at the reference a bit better, you will see that the left part is not 100% symmetrical with the right one at all. So by having the idea that it is, you are pushing yourself in trying to get it symmetrical, and you are completely missing the part that they are not, and they don't have to be. Having small imperfections can be much better for your drawings because it will be so much closer to the reference photo than having something proportional and symmetrical 100%. That is why I don't prefer using the ruler when it comes to drawing faces, because our faces are not geometrical in that way. The left part of the face can be completely different from the right part and vice versa. Just take a look at some of the faces and really compare their left and right eye, for example. I'm sure that they are not the same. Compare the eyebrows, lips, cheeks, eyelashes, left and right part of the nose. So if you realize this, don't expect for you to make something symmetrical because you don't have to. It's impossible. So don't expect impossible things from you. And instead of searching for perfection, search for the imperfections on the faces that makes us unique and take that as your advantage. So once you have this in mind, I'm sure that you will be able to relax so much more when it comes to your drawing skills and start enjoying it a bit more and stress less, which is very important if you want this to be your hobby or your job one day. Hobbies are not supposed to be stressful, neither the job that you choose by yourself. So if you stop expecting some impossible and unreasonable things from yourself and start looking at it as a process of learning and developing your skill and your knowledge, you will make your life so much easier. So you see how the drawing is slowly starting to look better and better. It took me about an hour and a half for this drawing, which is reasonable time to get something like this if you are not rushing your drawing. You see that I'm still slowly building up the layers, especially those darker parts. Keep in mind that while shading, you also need to see which parts you want to leave lighter and which parts you want to shade a bit darker. This is also something that can really improve your drawing skills because contrast is everything when it comes to realistic drawings. By manipulating the shades and keeping some parts lighter and some parts darker, you are getting much more realistic drawing than you would get if your shades were just in the same tone and if they were just flat. So don't be afraid of using some darker pencils because you see that the difference between the F pencil and the 4B is pretty big. But if you learn how to control the pencil pressure and don't press your pencils too hard while trying to get the shades, you will get a better looking and more natural look of the drawing. The only time I press the pencil harder is when I worked on the line that separates the upper lip from the down one. Everything else is just with very light pressure. So as I said before in the video where I'm showing how to draw the eyes, you can see how you can practice your line quality and to control your pencil pressure. So if you're insecure when it comes to that, have a look at the video and first use a couple of papers to learn how to control the pencil pressure and experiment with the lines. I will also link that video in my description box so you can check it out if you want to practice that. I truly hope that you like this video and all the tips I shared with you today. My main goal for this channel is to inspire the beginners, give them a push and motivation when it comes to drawing and learning, so I truly hope this will inspire you to make something on your own. Feel free to share with me your drawing over Instagram. I will link my Instagram page in my description box as well, so feel free to send me your drawings and we can chat about it. I know how hard it is when you're first starting off and have no idea where to start, what to practice or in which direction you should be going when it comes to practicing, so I really hope that you will find my videos inspiring. Also share the video with people you think this could help them out to improve their skills. Of course, subscribing to my channel and liking this video would be more than helpful because eventually it will allow me to work even more on the videos. If you feel like drawing with me, visit my Patreon page and join my little art community there. There are loads of real-time step-by-step narrative drawing tutorials, as I already mentioned that, so you can easily follow along at your own pace. Thank you guys for watching this video and I see you all in the next one. Bye guys!